Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be doing a Marvel character spotlight on a unfamiliar comic book villain. So, we're going to be talking about Porcupine. Now, we'll go into a little detail later on why we're going to be talking about this, but for now, there were two people who actually had the name Porcupine. So there was one by the name of Alexander Gentry, and he was first introduced in 1963, and then he no longer existed as of 1986. And then the second one happened to be Roger Gocking, and he was introduced in 2006. Apparently he's still alive to this day. So they're villains, and we'll go into a little more detail about them later. So Alexander Gentry, we're just going to call him Gentry to be easier, make it easier. He was a weapons designer for the United States Army. Conceived the idea of designing a battle suit in imitation of a porcupine. It would be covered in quill-like projections for defense and be able to shoot its quills or gases, chemicals, or weapons from quill-like tubes at the opponent. Now, he spent months working on overtime to create this porcupine battlesuit. He was enormously proud of his achievement when the suit was finished, and he believed his invention was worth a fortune. Yet Gentry also believed that the government would pay him as an employee virtually nothing for his creation. Eventually would pay him, and as an employee, virtually nothing for his creation. Gentry decided to keep the porcupine battlesuit and to use it to make himself wealthy through crime. Thus, Gentry became the Porcupine and one of the first costume criminals of his generation. So he kind of dealt with a lot of people in the beginning. I mean, he had to deal with Ant-Man, Henry Pym, and Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp. And then he's also had to deal with Reed Richards and Sue Storm. So most of the them. Then he's teamed up with a few people. So he's teamed up with the Serpent Society, which did not work in his favor because Captain America took them all out. And then once he was in prison, he decided that he would never lose again, and therefore he would never put on the battlesuit again. So he was soon released from prison, and under legal circumstances, he thought that his battlesuit was awesome and that he would sell it. So he was going to sell it to to villains, seeing that they want it. But unfortunately, the stigma around his battlesuit was that it was just a laughable failure, and that nobody wanted it, and it was worthless to them. Because he tried to sell it to the Secret Empire, AIM, Hydra, the Kingpin, the Tinkerer, and various others, and then finally the Serpent Society, which he used to work for. But nobody wanted it, and the few offers he did receive for it were insultingly low. He was desperate, and so he had the idea of selling the battlesuit to the Avengers to prevent it from falling into the hands of other enemies. Captain America was very surprised by this and had a talk with him. And in the end, he said the Avengers would buy it if and only if Gentry would work with them to help him get the members of the Serpent Society. So Gentry agreed. When they did this, Porcupine got them in, and they realized that he was duping them when Captain America came in, and that's when they decided to go after him. So Gentry tried to run away, but Diamondback went after him and threw two nitroglycerin-filled diamond weapons at him, and the weapons exploded on impact, damaging his battlesuit somewhat, but not actually harming him. So the fact that his costume was damaged, he fell into a rage and attacked Diamondback. She again damaged his suit somehow, and he tried to escape her, and he tripped and fell. When he tripped and fell, some of the quills dug into him and actually went right into his heart, and it was fatal, and he unfortunately passed. In tribute to Gentry, Captain America had him buried in a grave reserved by the Avengers for those who have fallen in battle, and put his battlesuit on exhibit in Avengers Mansion, labeled Battle Armor of Porcupine, honored foe of the Avengers. And that's how he went. Then we have the next one, who was Roger Gucking. Now we're just going to call him Roger. So Roger bought the rights to the name Porcupine and the armor from Hobgoblin after the death of the original Porcupine. He was present during the trial of the Tinkerer and was attacked by Misty Knight, Cullen Wing, while looking for an informant in the bar. During the Civil War, Porcupine was captured by Mac 4 and was coerced into joining the Thunderbolts, and later fought with them against a mob of normal empowered by the Universal Wellspring. During the Doctor Doom's war with Wakanda over the vibranium supply, Roger was employed by Broker in Mexico to secure one of Doom's outposts. He defended it from Dora Milaje and the Fantastic Four. Then he became a target of the Scourge, and while working at the Baltimore shipyard under the assumed name Roger Manning, he left his workplace as Captain America arrived and knocked him out on the way. Knocked him out of the way of stray bullets. Steve then told Roger to hide deeper into the dock while he went to face Scourge. Porcupine then joined the Masters of Evil and later attended a support group called Villains Anonymous that was held at a church and was attended by Boomerang, Hippo, Grizzly, Dr. Bong, Looter, Mirage, and many others. And they all talked about their run-ins with Spider-Man. Now, sometime later, Roger was forced to commit crimes for Kat, as she had abducted his wife and his daughter. Now, while Spider-Woman went to rescue them, they were living in Moon's Hollow, a small community of the families of henchmen and minor supervillains who wanted out of that life. Jess defeated Kat, who herself was the wife of the heavily abused supervillain engineer, and promised not to involve the authorities if they stopped blackmailing their supervillain husbands. Roger, thanking Jess, asked to be her sidekick to turn over a new leaf and be a better father for his baby girl. Well, she agreed, and during this time when she was pregnant, Roger actually was doing her superheroing against other supervillains. Mostly due to the fact that she couldn't do it because of being being pregnant. And then eventually she went to go back out. He was being the stay-at-home father, and she freaked out because she was worried that the baby would not be safe without her. So anyway, the Porcupine later on was approached by Hobgoblin in order to collect his dues for the armor, only to learn that Roger had gone straight, and Hobgoblin did not take that info lightly and had other franchisees beat him up and strip him of his armor, then take a pumpkin bomb at him. And then tossed a pumpkin bomb at him, sorry. Now, at this time, many people had witnessed this, and Jess believed Roger was dead and went on a warpath. Now, Roger had survived, even though nobody had known this. It was because he was wearing Jess's alien maternity protection shirt as Under Armour, because he did not believe the Hobgoblin was going to, pretty much go with their deal. Now, he saved Jess from an ambush because he'd been following her, and he explained the situation in which he relieved Jess, then kissed him, and their moment was cut short as Kingsley returned to snare Roger with his demon glider and drag him away. Now, Hobgoblin was about to throw Roger into a fire pit, and that's when Jess ran over to rescue him by crashing into the Hobgoblin and herself into a nearby junkyard. As Hobgoblin was trying to make another escape, she hijacked Ringer's glider to pursue them, while Roger cut his snare and unbalanced the Hobgoblin for Jess to ram him mid-flight, and finally together, the two of them prepared to fight Hobgoblin and his men until Carol arrived. Having been called by Ben about their predicament, they had chased away the men. Now, upon their arrival, Roger and Jess kissed, and it was all great. Roger found the infant playing with his inherited spider powers. Roger chased him around the apartment, then chased Gentry up the wall to the party, and there, as Jerry eluded numerous heroes, Roger dove off the building to catch the falling Jerry. Saved by Spider-Man's timely webbing, now accepted by his peers, Roger helped Jess clean up her apartment and had a private party with her, Carol, and Ben. Roger was planning to propose to Jess, but reconsidered upon realizing that she was way too distracted with being a superhero, including that she was neglecting their relationship, and he eventually broke up with her. But he said he would but still kept available in case she needed help with Jerry, their child. Now, Roger afterwards returned back to crime, mugging a pizza delivery guy, and then being apprehended by Hawkeye and Lucky. And he's been pretty much been a criminal ever since. Now, both of these guys have been like low-class villains at best. So, as always, Marvel has a rating system out of 7. Porcupine's, and this is for both of them, Porcupine's intelligence is a 3, which is learned intelligence. Their strength is a 2, which is normal, but with the armor, it's a 4, which makes it superhuman. Their speed is normal, their durability is normal, except with the armor, then it's enhanced. There is no energy projection whatsoever, and his fighting skills are 3, which is some training. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would we be talking about this character? They don't seem to really be doing much overall. But the rumor is that this character is going to be having a cameo in She-Hulk. Now, we know very little about the context of it. They could be somebody that's going to be part of a trial, and she's going to be either defending or persecuting them. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that situation. And also, which Porcupine are we going to see? The one that was a villain and a loser, or the one that wanted to become a hero, failed at it, and then went back to being a villain? Now we're going to have to wait and see for She-Hulk to see what kind of Porcupine we're going to have, and whether or not he's going to have a long career in the MCU. Now, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is this a character you'd like to see in the MCU for a long period of time, or is this going to be somebody you hope doesn't have much airtime? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if there is a specific character you would like me to do a character spotlight on, please let me know in the comments below. And then, if you also like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.